Hey there, YouTube family. It's Halana Black, your freelance writing business expert, and I am back with another video. I got a question, and I wanted to answer for you today: how to make time for your freelance writing business. I know people are busy, you have things to do, you probably have another 9 to 5 job, you probably have family and other responsibilities that you have to tend to. How exactly do you make time to start a new business when you have so much other stuff going on? So that's what I'm going to answer for you today. But first, before we get started with answering that question, I want to remind you, if you haven't already, to go to digitalwellpublisher.com/freelance, and you can download my free email series called 10 Steps to Starting Your Own Location Independent Freelance Writing Business in 2020. I'm going to give you a 10-part email series that tells you great tips on how to start your freelance writing business during a pandemic. I've been a freelance writer for the past 5 years full time. For the last 2 years, I have been working overseas in Southeast Asia. So my travels have taken me to Thailand, Cambodia, Myanmar, or otherwise known as Burma, Laos, and now in Vietnam. I've been in Vietnam since December of 2019, and now what are we? Towards the end of October, I will be leaving Vietnam and I will be relocating to Rwanda in East Africa in another week. So I'm very excited about that. So go ahead and download that free information. But I wanted to get into today's topic: how to make time for your freelance writing business. Now, before I became a full-time freelance writer, I did have a regular 9 to 5 job, and I had to figure out, how do you work that balance when you have all kinds of other stuff to do. Now, before 5 years ago, when I first started, I had my full-time job. I had a partner who was quite ill at the time. He had kidney failure, and it was kind of a lot to be able to juggle that life of trying to work your regular job, take care of everything at home, plus be able to plan for things for the future, because I knew that working my regular full-time job was not going to be the be-all and end-all for me. So there was a lot of things that I needed to organize. So number one, what I suggest is that you really need to make a commitment. I made a commitment to myself that no matter what, I was going to make this happen, which is a lot easier said than done. I think the expression is. What does making a commitment actually look like? Well, it looks like deciding on what times you want to be able to work. When other people are doing other things that may look like fun, you are going to be doing the things that you need to do to be able to build your business. It may look like talking to other people who are freelance writers and sort of just getting a feel for what it is that they do, and asking questions about how you can use that information to be able to help you to move your business forward. It may look like your commitment may look like going to networking events and meeting with other people and other potential customers, to ask them what it is that they might need in their business and how you can help them. So you absolutely have to make a commitment. Setting boundaries in your household. Let's see, number two, defining your most important business activities. This is very, very important, because what I did and what I know a lot of people do when they start their own business is that they spend their times doing a lot of busy work that doesn't necessarily equate to dollars in their business, and therefore it prolongs their it prolongs their ability to be able to start a business and actually leave their full-time job, which is actually the goal. You want to be able to have your full-time writing business so that you can leave your 9 to 5 behind, or at least do it on a part-time basis or whatever it is that you decide that you want to do. But you have to define your most important business activities. And so for me, there's two of the most important business activities that actually lead to cash in your freelance writing business. And number one, that's developing clips. You have to have some sort of clips to be able to show potential customers that you actually know how to write. Now, for the most part, I do a lot of content marketing. That's my first stream of income in my business as a writer. So I needed to be able to show that I could write things like blog posts, that I could write ebooks, that I could write social media posts, and all sorts of other things. So I needed to be able to develop those posts so that I can have them to be able to be able to demonstrate to potential customers that I knew what I was doing. Now, the way that I did that was I had personal blogs, personal professional blogs that I had written. First, I started off with an education blog because I was working in the field of higher education for a number of years. And I had a blog, professional blog, where I talked about, basically anything that crossed my mind, any issues that we were experiencing within the higher education field in Washington, D.C., which is where I was living at the time. And so that was really instrumental in helping me to develop those clips in areas that I knew I could write in. Later on, I developed a personal health blog. And so when I pivoted in my work from education to my full-time freelance writing business, I started writing for health companies. And I was able to turn those blog posts that I had from my health blog to professional clips that I could show to demonstrate that I knew how to write health blogs. And they were very impressed. I didn't have clips writing for, some other big companies. This is when I was just starting out, just, fresh in the field. I didn't have clips for, writing for other people. I wasn't, published in any big magazines or anything like that. And while you can do all of those things, if we're talking about getting from one place to the next in the quickest way possible, it's very easy for all of us to be able to publish our work whenever it is that we want to, because it's just so easy to be able to start your own blog. You can put it on LinkedIn, you can do Medium posts, you can put it on Quora. There's a ton of different things that you can do nowadays. It's not hard to come up with clips of your own. Your second business activity is marketing. That's your second business activity that's super important. So you should be concerning yourself with developing clips as well as marketing your business. Now, in your marketing business, that's really just connecting with potential clients. So that's, figuring out what types of clients you want to be able to work for, what sorts of things you're able to write for them, and, simply pitching people, different companies, going to facing the content marketing, the people who are in the content marketing positions in the companies that you want to be able to work for. Those are the people you want to be able to send an email to, connect with them on LinkedIn, and say, hey, I have a particular skill. Are you working with freelancers right now? And that's how you can start to drum up, at least start having conversations with potential clients. There's a little more to it, but that gives you the gist. A lot of people, when they start their own freelance writing business, they get involved in a lot of busy work. So, they want to have, silly things like a logo. They want to do business cards. They get all involved with trying to create the most perfect website ever. And it's not that, having business cards or a website won't do anything for you. it's not the shortest. For me, I don't think it's the shortest length of finding your first customers and starting to get paid. Once you find your customers, then you can sort of start to see what it is that you like and what you don't like in working for a client, what sorts of pieces of content marketing materials you're most talented at in writing, learning how to communicate with a customer. Those are the things that are going to be able to sustain a long-term freelance writing business. Not doing things like, choosing colors for your website and your business cards and coming up with the perfect logo. That's all busy work. You don't need to do those things. Okay, and then number three, way to be able to make time for your freelance writing business is to figure out what your working hours are going to be. So if you have a regular 9 to 5 job, are you going to be working before you go to work? Are you going to be working after you go to work? Are you only going to be able to do the weekends? You need to be able to figure out how you're going to organize life around your family if you have a family around. Are you going to be working when the kids are doing their homework, or are you going to be working when they go to bed? How are you going to organize this? At one point, when I had when I first started my freelance writing business, I started my first year, and it was an absolute struggle because I really couldn't figure out how to be able to make more money. And so I was making, $5, $10, $25, maybe $50 if I was lucky, per blog post. And when you're charging so little for the work that you're doing, that means you have to churn out more blog posts. And after about a good year, I think I probably burnt out. And it was like there just got to be a better way. Like, this can't be it. So I wound up getting a full-time job, and I didn't even look for it. They happened to find me through my website that I had online for my freelance writing business, and they said, would I be open to a consulting gig, editing standardized test questions for the state of Florida. And I was like, okay, yeah, cool. They paid pretty well, and I was able to take the money that I earned to be able to pay a freelance writing expert to help me build an actual freelance writing business where I actually learned how to go for higher paying gigs. So that was really important. But while I was doing that full-time gig, I also wanted to be able to hold on to some of my freelance writing clients, and as well as to be able to attract more freelance writing clients, because I knew that this gig was only going to last for a good year, and it did. It lasted for a year, and then I would, I didn't want to have to start from scratch at the end of this particular assignment. So depending on what I had going on, there were times where I would wake up in the morning at 3 or 4 in the morning. I would work for 2 hours, and then I would go to work. Then there were other times where I would come home from work at about 5:30ish in the evening. I would, eat, do some exercise, and I would put in another 3 hours of work and, coming up with clips and doing marketing work, and all those things that really make sense in creating the shortest line from figuring out how to get the shortest line to cash in your business. So those are my three tips on how to be able to make time for your freelance writing business. Very quickly, I'll go through them once again. Number one is that you got to make a commitment. If you know that this is what you want, if you know that you want to get up out of that cubicle, if you know that you want to be able to go to the doctor's office, when you feel like it, when you want to be able to, take a day to be able to enjoy your children when you like, or just take a day to yourself and go to the beach. I do that often. This is what you can do when you have a freelance writing business. You can go to the beach, without having to say, I need to take a vacation day. You have to start off with making a commitment to yourself that that's what you want, and it's going to be a lot of hard work in the very beginning. So you have to make a commitment to the fact that you want to be able to start your business. Number two, You have to define your most important business activities. And for me, that means you need to be able to come up with professional clips, usually through blogging, creating your own blog posts and making sure that they are excellent. You can put them on your own blog, which is what I would suggest, but you can also post them on LinkedIn, Medium, Quora, tons of other places. And also figuring out what your marketing activities are going to be. How are you going to be able to pitch the clients you want to be able to work for? Okay, you have to have some sort of a marketing strategy to be able to connect with people who are going to pay you and pay you well for what it is that you write. And then number 3, what are your working hours? What are your working hours? Are you working in the morning, the evenings? Are you working when the kids are doing their homework? Or are you preferring to work when they are asleep? It's all up to you. You get to decide what it is that you want. Okay, so that's all that I have for today. Again, I want to remind you to to join my email list. You can go to digitalwellpublisher.com/freelance, and you can download my 10 steps to starting your own location independent freelance writing business in 2020. Yes, you can absolutely start a freelance writing business during a pandemic in 2020, and you can actually thrive at doing it. It's not impossible. There are tons of really good paying clients out there, and they want to be able to work with someone like you. So go ahead and download that at digitalwellpublisher.com/freelance. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little notification bell. And also, our question for the day, I'd love for you to leave a comment. What's stopping you from starting your own freelance writing business? Like, seriously, what's stopping you? Is it mindset? You don't have the time? You don't know what to do? You don't know where to start? Just put a note below, and either I will leave you a comment below, or I may even turn the response into a video made just for you. So again, thank you so much. My name is Halana Black, your freelance writing expert, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.